Wait Up by Marty McCafferty and Seery, performed by Dr. Franz Cronier. Early in dive training, students learn that there are three elements involved with buoyancy control: the buoyancy compensator, weights, and lung volume. Although most divers are familiar with the need to be properly weighted, many do not understand all that it entails. Students and experienced divers alike make two common errors when it comes to weighting: diving while overweighted and failing to adjust the amount of weight used in response to changes in equipment and environment. Here are some tips that we'd like to share to improve your buoyancy. Firstly, don't work too hard. Improper weighting makes it harder to achieve neutral buoyancy. Many divers who wear too much weight do not even realize they're overweighted. The excess weight means that to achieve neutral buoyancy, the diver needs to put more air in the BC bladders, which can create a more upright profile in the water. The upright position increases drag when swimming and causes the diver to expend more effort and consume more air. Underweighted divers can become significantly fatigued while trying to stay down. In addition to increasing breathing gas consumption, the extra exertion also elevates decompression stress potentially. So, how do you get it right? You may have heard a diver say, "This is how much weight I always use." While field testing and prior experience can be useful, this statement shouldn't be the end point of a dialogue about weighting. Proper weighting requires thought and practice, and the amount of weight worn is not fixed. Over the course of our lives, we experience changes in muscle mass, body fat, and physical fitness. Equipment, including wetsuits, wear out and get replaced. Dive environments differ. All of these factors affect buoyancy and require adjustments to the amount of weight we use. So, to determine how much weight you need, consider your body weight, the exposure protection you will be wearing, the weight of your equipment, and the environment in which you'll be diving. Start with a weight equivalent of about 10% of your body weight, which is a good baseline for a 6mm full wetsuit. For a 3mm suit, use 5% of your body weight. Remember that these percentages are simply starting points. Dry suits and thick neoprene necessitates more weight to counter the suit's buoyancy than thin neoprene or dive skins would. Body composition, that is, muscle density for example, will influence whether you're more likely to sink or float. Diving with aluminium tanks requires more weight than diving with steel tanks. Salt water is denser than fresh water, thereby increasing the buoyancy of immersed objects and requiring more weight to descend. Dive training typically begins in freshwater environments, such as pools, quarries, and lakes. So new divers should consider that even if they are wearing the same exposure protection, they will need to add weight for the ocean and ocean diving. The exact amount will vary from person to person, so perform a buoyancy check in each situation to help determine the right amount of weight to add. Next, secure it. There are several options available for how and where to secure your weights. A weight belt is the most common way of wearing weights, and there are belts that accept slide-on weights, as well as pocket belts that can accommodate either solid weights or soft weights, such as bags filled with lead shot. Weight belts are easy to ditch in an emergency, as long as you keep other gear clear of the belt. A shoulder harness is sometimes used when the buoyancy of thermal protection suits requires more weight than can comfortably be worn around the waist. Integrated weight pockets and harness systems offer a couple of advantages over belts. They can be considerably more comfortable, and they offer improved abilities to adjust trim. But unlike belts, which have a single point of release, harnesses and integrated systems may have more than one release point. This is crucial information for the diver and dive buddy to discuss prior to diving, and to remember in the event of an emergency. A downside of using weight pockets is that it may be more difficult to add or remove weights if adjustment is needed on the fly. Next, stay trim. In addition to wearing the right amount of weight, make sure it's positioned to optimize underwater trim. Creating a level profile in the water makes you more hydrodynamic. So distribute the weights as equally as possible from side to side. You should never feel as though you're listing to one side while diving. You should also consider the weight of your scuba tank and the style of your BC when placing your weights. The tank can be moved up or down in the tank band to facilitate optimal body positioning in the water also. Back inflation BCs have a tendency to push the diver forward or face down in the water, so placing weights towards the back can help to counter some of this forward pitch, especially at the surface. While weight pockets on the back of your BC can help with trim, they also present a potential hazard in an emergency because buddy assistance is required to remove them if ditching weight becomes necessary. Fins can also be positively, neutrally, or negatively buoyant, and each type may require compensation. Ankle weights can help offset a more buoyant lower body half, but they may be a challenge to ditch because you have to reach to release them. If your fins are negatively buoyant or create a downward pull on the lower half of your body, moving weights higher on your body or shifting your tank high on the band can move up your center of gravity and promote a more level profile. Reviewing where and how your buddy's dive weights are placed is an essential component of each pre-dive check. Each buddy needs to know how to jettison the other buddy's weights in an emergency. Learning how to determine proper weighting will enhance the enjoyment of your dives, as well as your safety. Having a good understanding of your baseline weighting needs and the factors influencing your buoyancy will aid you in adjusting to a variety of environments and conditions. How to perform a buoyancy check. Start in water, too deep to stand in, and release all the air from your BC. Inhale a normal breath, and the water should be at eye level. When you exhale, you should sink so that the water is just over your head, and then rise to eye level as you inhale normally again. Adjust your weights in small increments, about 1 kilogram at a time. Also consider adding a little weight to offset the potentially positive buoyancy of a partially emptied aluminium cylinder at the end of a dive. If you are properly weighted, you should be able to hover without any effort between 3 and 5 meters at the end of your dive with 50 bar in your aluminium tank and no air in your BC.